Hello and welcome back to the WDBF World Championships here in Los Angeles, California. I am Elisa Westman.
And I'm Terry Thrasher.
And we are very excited to be here with you today for the gold medal and bronze medal matches.
Yeah, it's all come down to this. We've seen an awful lot of dodgeball. I've gotten tired just watching it. I'm sure the athletes are even more tired, not to mention all the staff who've done a pretty amazing job getting this event pulled off. We've even dealt with some adverse weather, pretty rare for Los Angeles.
It is. It's very unusual. We maybe get 3 rainy days a year here, and unfortunately we had one of them land yesterday. We had a few leaks in the ceilings at the venue here, having to adjust some things. Thank you for watchers at home that stayed patient as we adjusted. But today it's not raining yet.
Yeah.
It's a little overcast, but we're all inside. The stadium's set up. Athletes are excited and ready to go, so I expect a good day of dodgeball.
Yeah, and so we are going to have a bronze medal match. Starting with the women's, it'll be Canada versus Australia, followed by the men's match for the bronze medal, which is also Canada versus Australia. And then a little bit after that, we'll have the gold medal matches, which, again, women followed by men, and it's Malaysia versus the host country, United States, in both cases. So we've got some mirror matches for both divisions. Yeah, what are you thinking heading into those?
Well, looking back at yesterday, the road to get here was a really tough one for all of these teams. The games to get to the gold medal went into overtime for, I think both the men's and women's, either way. The Canada-U.S. game for the women's was really close, went right to the end there. The same for Australia-Malaysia. That went into overtime yesterday. So these top 4 teams are all just neck and neck. They are very competitive. They've played against each other now a couple times throughout this tournament.
Yeah.
And so they are very equal competitors. So I think all 4 games today are going to be some exciting nail-biters.
Yeah, and the 4 teams that are in medal contention are in each division. They're the 4 teams who finished at the top of the standings during the round robin. On the men's side, we had the United States and Malaysia as the top 2 seeds. They're making it to the gold medal match, both of them finishing 7-1 after the round robin. Australia and Canada right behind them at 6-2. Then on the women's side, Malaysia and the U.S. flipping the rankings. Malaysia entering as the first seed after going 5-1. And then the U.S. second seed after tiebreakers. They were tied with a 4-2 record with the United States, Canada, and Australia going into the medal round. So a lot of parity between these top teams. But, yeah, we'll see who actually earns which medals by the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good show. To kick off some interviews this morning, to give you guys a little bit of background on what has been taking place here over the last 3 days, we have our first interview with Brittany Masro, Team USA coach. We'll be passing it over to Christina to kick us off with some of today's events.
Welcome to the World Dodgeball Federation Championships 2018. I'm here with Coach Brittany Masro of Team USA, and I just want to ask you, how has this experience been so far?
Oh my gosh, this experience has been, it's been a learning experience, first of all, but it's been awesome. I think that being a coach for me this year has been different, but it's been fun, and I think that the girls that are on the team, I'm lucky enough to have such talented players on Team USA this year.
Yes. So let's talk about your match yesterday against Team Canada. It was really intense. How are you able to harness everybody's energy and pull out that win?
Man, you know what? We definitely feed off of energy. It's something that we know, and that I tell the girls, it's about emotional responsibility, understanding that we are emotional, and that's okay, but owning it, not being reckless with it. When we get up, stay up, support your team. We would definitely come into this tournament with a family mindset of, you know what, like, we're a family, we stick together. You know, at one point, Karina came in yesterday and she was like, you know what, I need you guys. Like, I need you to pick me up, because she kept getting hit out the first time. And she's like, I need you, I need my family. And we all gathered behind her and we're like, all right, like, we got you, like, let's go. And I don't, if you saw for her, those next couple of games, after she kept getting hit out, she stayed in longer, stayed in longer. So that kind of mentality of being a family is what's so important for us.
That is great. And today, what is your strategy going into the Malaysia game?
Malaysia is a totally different team than Canada. They definitely, Canada is a more upright kind of strategy as we do, as the U.S. does. So
Yes.
playing against Malaysia, they definitely get smaller, they get lower. So we have to make those adjustments with our throws as far as how we attack Malaysia as a team.
And do you have a starting lineup?
I don't. I don't.
How do you determine this today?
So how we determine this and how I've talked about it with the girls is we start with team. So we have team 1, team 2, team 3.
Right.
We start with team 1. If you win, you're in. If you're hot, you're in. If it's not working yet, then we'll figure it out.
Right.
Pretty much eventually I do, based on what I'm seeing on the court and who's working well together, I make a decision as far as who's staying on. And honestly, it's in the moment, and the girls know that. And so, and sometimes, like Cecilia yesterday, Cecilia killed the first 3 games yesterday, and then she sat the rest of the time, not because Cecilia was doing bad at all, but because she needed a break. She was tired from those first 3 games, and then the other 6 were doing well together, so that's what stayed. So everyone's been amazing about it's not personal. It just, we're here to win, and so I'm just going to go with that.
Right, and your family's here.
My family is here.
Do you want to give a shout out?
Yeah, my dad's here, my mom's here, my sister's here. I love our fans, so all of our fans who have been here, we appreciate them. They are our 7th man.
Yes.
Our alternates as well, who are on Team USA, who have done the shagging. That is so huge for us. And I tell our team and I tell everyone around us, like, we need that energy. We need you guys to be there, be present for us. Because like I said, we feed off of that. So everyone who has been here supporting us has been so amazing. It's definitely helped us get to where we are right now.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thank you for coming in. I'm going to turn it back to our crew. Thank you. Welcome back to the World Dodgeball Federation Championships 2018. I am here with Jen Ritchie from Team Canada. Tell me about your game yesterday. How did you feel about that match against USA?
Honestly, it was a great game.
Yes.
Like, back and forth. I love matches like that when it's 1 point for them, 1 point for us. It makes it so intense.
And do you consider there to be a rivalry between the 2 teams?
Yes, of course. I think, like with any sport, there's always a rivalry between the U.S. and Canada.
And how does your team handle the intensity? Because it seemed at times it got real intense for the 2 teams. How do you guys harness that energy? How do you keep focused on the task at hand?
I think, honestly, we just have to, like, a lot of times we were, like, throwing too many balls, like, that we shouldn't have. And we just had to, like, talk as a group and just say, okay, listen, guys, calm down. Just, discipline, and we got this. And
right.
Yeah.
And today, what is your strategy going into this next match?
Well, I think it's the same as the U.S. because I find that Australia is a very similar team. Like, I think Australia, Canada, and U.S. kind of have similar playing strategies.
Right.
So I think it's just a lot of discipline, the same thing as with the U.S.
And do you guys have a starting lineup, or how do you determine who is going to be on the floor?
Yeah, so our coach does have a starting lineup.
Okay.
He puts the top 8 out, but anyone who, so we have 11 players on our team, so the 3 that are technically not on the bench, they could still be put in at any time.
Right.
So it all depends on how people are playing.
Right. And tell me, how important, people don't understand, I think, about the shagging portion. How important is shagging in these games?
It's really important. Like, there's times where, you have no ball in hand, and if it's a one-on-one, it's whoever gets the ball first.
Right.
So it's really important
Right.
for them to be on the ball, and our shaggers are great.
Yeah, and just so the audience is aware of, the teams cannot touch the ball. Only the shaggers can. So none of the players, nobody can touch the ball except for the shaggers. So it becomes really important when you're playing the game to get those balls to the players as soon as possible, and it is very important. So is there anything that you're looking forward to today? Any player that you are looking forward to really going up against?
Well, so my best friend actually plays on Team Australia, and I think you're going to be interviewing her next.
Yes.
So we always have this rivalry when it comes down to one-on-one.
Right.
We're like, we don't want to throw at each other, so let's like both step over the line at the same time, or both catch each other's ball at the same time. We've never actually done that, but we always talk about that. So it goes back and forth. Like she gets me, I get her. So it's always fun to face her.
And what has been a highlight for you on this match, on this journey?
I think like every year that I play, just the integrity that Canadians have.
Yes.
That's the one thing, like win or lose, I love that we're honest and that we take our outs.
Yeah.
And so many countries come up to us and say, you know what, Canadians, you guys are always so honest. And it makes me feel really good.
Yes.
Like that's what I love.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much and good luck today.
Thank you very much.
We are here at the World Dodgeball Federation Championships 2018 with Team Australia, Captain Claire Spillane.
Spillane.
Yep. Working it out. So tell me, how has this journey been for you thus far?
Oh wow, it's obviously been a big journey. We've been training for about 6 months now, and working really hard, giving up a lot of weekends and weeknights and all those kinds of things. But you know, you put in all that hard work to come here and play hard, and it's been really amazing.
So I just interviewed Jen Ritchie.
Yeah.
And she says that you guys are best friends.
Rowan and Jen are just like best of friends, but the Canadians are an amazing team.
What is your strategy going into this match against them?
The biggest thing for us is we want to play our side of the court, so we're going to play our game. We're not going to buy into any of the other stuff. We're playing our side of the court and playing hard.
And yesterday, you guys played incredibly tough. What was the highlight for you?
Oh, God. Lots of highlights. I mean, we had Hong Kong first yesterday, and, you know, we didn't know what to expect because they've been quite dynamic this year and changed up their game a bit. So we really focused on that game first and making sure that we didn't become complacent.
Had some amazing catches.
Oh, yeah.
She had amazing catches.
Yeah.
You held that corner so well. How do you... When you prep against a team that maybe you haven't seen, how do you guys prep for this match?
Like I said, we really worry about what we do on our side of the court. I think we have the depth in our strategy to adapt when needed.
Right.
So we've really talked about what we're going to start with, but what we might try along the way. So
awesome.
I think we're going to be good.
Thank you.
And
so is there how is this different from like league play? I mean, like what does this really represent for you, this World Dodgeball Federation Championship?
Yeah, great question. I was just chatting, and it's your chance to play against the best of the best.
Yes.
You know, you play at home, you play your league stuff, which is really fun, and there's always a challenge. But to go up, especially as a female, to play against these really strong and, you know, amazing, athletic other females is such an honor, and it's something I really enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, Team USA, or Team Australia, the men's team, it was a tough loss.
Yeah.
But you guys, I mean, and let's talk about your fans for a minute. Your fans are amazing.
Huge shout out to all of them. Our fans are amazing here and at home. Have just been
amazing.
amazing.
There a group chat or something that was?
Oh, this is just how we are.
Yeah, it was amazing. So you guys were cheering on the men's team. What was that like?
It's hard because you go as hard as you can and you're feeling everything they're feeling. It's tough because we train at the same time. We're there alongside them on the other side of the court. You know, they're there. So everything that they're going through, we're going through. And there's a couple of partners on our team. There's a couple of girls who've got boyfriends on the other side. And it's tough, but, you know, we have to get behind them. So we just screamed our lungs out. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a shout out to anybody in Team Australia
my
that
God.
is cheering for you guys today?
I have to have a massive shout out to Johnny is leading the way with Amber and Devon right up the front. All those cheers. Other Ryan, Reese, like there are just so many of you. I can't even think of all of you right now, but you're amazing and keep it coming because it's making a huge difference.
Well, good luck today.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank
you guys
you.
have done a great job.
Thank you for having me.
Hello and welcome back to the WDBF World Championship here in Los Angeles, California. We hope you enjoyed those player interviews. It's always nice to get a chance to actually talk to the people that you guys have been watching play on the court for the last couple days.
Yeah, you go from seeing them in intimidating throwing positions or dodging out of the way of something and actually hearing from them as people. I always enjoy that. Enjoy that side.
Rather than just hear our voices, it's nice to hear the voices of those who are sweating and working hard out on the court.
Yeah, there are other personalities in dodgeball besides us. So, yeah, we heard from Captain Claire Spillon there. I like that little bit of trivia that Rowena Mason and Jen Ritchie are best friends, even though one is the vice captain this year of the Australian team, one is the captain of the Canadian team. They've maintained a friendship over thousands of miles of ocean in between them. Actually, whenever they see each other for the first time in a while, I feel like there's probably some happy squealing going on.
And that's what's so great about dodgeball is that you could live in Canada or Australia or in America or Hong Kong or wherever, and people have made these really great friendships and connections through this sport, and they've stayed connected. They maybe only see each other once a year, maybe not even that often, but it's such a connecting sport that you can kind of go anywhere in the world and find that dodgeball family.
Yeah, and you heard Claire talking about just how much it means to have fans here. She was mentioning cheering for the men's team. The men's team, as we know, was cheering for the women's team as well. You could see just how much the energy from the crowd helps feed into the Australian team's play. And we heard Coach Brittany Massaro saying the same thing, that her team feeds off the energy from the crowd as well. I think the American side has obviously benefited a lot from the fact that there are a bunch of fans here. It's in the host nation. They want to show a lot of pride and high levels of play for the fans here. And that crowd energy, really important.
Definitely. We could feel it all the way over here at the commentators booth last night when Canada and the U.S. women's were playing against each other. We didn't know what was going on in the game because we were commentating the other one, but the ground was shaking from the cheers from both of the countries' fans, and that's so exciting. You can feel the energy in the building. It's just rising up, and it's a lot of fun and so exciting to see that happen.
Yeah, totally agreed. And I think we're glad we can bring you the stream, but there's also nothing quite like seeing some of these matches live. Very glad, once again, to USA Dodgeball for putting on an event that, we've been able to see an awful lot of incredible athletes performing here, and we're going to see a little bit more before the end of the day. So I think one of the interesting observations I heard from Brittany Massaro there was talking a bit about the style differentiation. I'd say for the women's side, all of Canada, the Americans and the Australians have that similar, she called it the more upright game. They tend to stay square to their opponents, look for catches as often as they dodge or block, whereas the Team Malaysia members are often very likely to go low and go lateral and just try to get out of the way of those balls. We don't see as many catches from them, but we do see an awful lot of evasion.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good point when Christina had asked, how are you preparing for the game different against the U.S. than you are against Australia? She said the same. They kind of play the same. They got the big guns. They kind of play up at the line a lot. So I think there is a big strategy difference when you are playing a team, say, like Malaysia, then like Canada, then like the U.S. So it's definitely a big reason why the coaches watch the tapes. They watch old games, how they did against them last time, how other teams have done against them, what strategies worked, what strategies didn't. So it's a lot of homework for these coaches as well.
Yeah, and luckily you too can see all this video footage if you want to prepare to play against some of these players yourself or integrate some of their tactics into your own game. All of the links from all of the streams are up on YouTube. I fully expect to go back and watch some of the matches that we didn't get a chance to see because we obviously have a job to do, which has been on the feature court here, but there have been so many matches on so many of the courts that I just wish I had time to watch them all.
Yeah, we sometimes will hear a big cheer and we'll want to turn around and see what happens. But yeah, all the courts have been live streamed over the last several days. So please feel free to go back and watch your home country if you weren't able to see it. We know that some of the games went really late into the night, even here in Los Angeles. So it's probably very late for those watching in Toronto or all across the world. But thankfully, all the courts on today will be on the main court, so you won't be missing anything. We will be commentating all of the games back to back here.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to be able to put our full focus on what's going on today, which is exciting for us, hopefully exciting for you. Yeah, I thought another thing that was interesting from Coach Brittany, just when she was saying that Amezcua was getting frustrated with getting hit out first all the time. She needed the support of her teammates, her family on the team. I also, man, she earned it with those hits off the rush. She was so accurate. She was connecting so well. But it's interesting to see how that counterplay happens and what kind of effect it can have on the psyche of a player. Sometimes even if you've knocked someone out almost 100% of the time, I think, against Canada, and there's still that toll of you might hit someone out, but you get countered right away, and that can be tough when you feel like, yeah, I did my job, but now I have to sit again until my team makes a catch and brings me on. There's a lot of mental fortitude that goes into playing this sport.
Definitely. And something else that showed me too is that Canada learned from the last time they played the United States and maybe even watched tape. Karina's a relatively new player. This is her first time playing in WDBF Worlds. So she's not a face that maybe the other countries have seen before. They may not have known about her killer arm that we all know about here in the States. So that means that they have been watching her play over the tournament, discovering how to play best against her, and they adjusted to that. So Canada came out swinging right off the bat, wanting to take out that big arm in the middle that they maybe have not seen in years past. So that's something that maybe we'll see a different style of play here in these next games today, that these teams have all faced each other so far in this tournament at least once. But they may have adjusted their play, watched some reel, come up with some new strategy. So it could be a completely different kind of ball game that we're about to see.
Yeah. And so we'll see, for example, if the women from Malaysia, if they expect to face Karina Amezcua off the rush like that. Malaysia's very quick getting to those balls off the rush. Maybe they'll try and get there a little faster, be able to take the shot or throw off her timing, for example. There are a lot of different ways they could play it. Maybe they'll just try and accept that she'll get that throw off and just try to elude it. We've seen that they're obviously very hard to hit. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing these adaptations that the teams make, because even though some of these matches now are going to be rematches, they've had a lot of time to watch the footage or watch their opponents play other opponents, and maybe there are some new tactics that they've picked up. To be determined.
To be determined. First and foremost, though, it will be Team Australia facing off against Team Canada. So if you are Team Canada, what are you thinking right now? What strategy are you going to go with to play against Australia here?
Well, we heard from Captain Jen Ritchie that there were times during the match in the semifinals against the U.S. where their ball control slipped. Maybe they let go a couple of extra balls on lower percentage chances, lost control of those balls, and then give the initiative back to the team. So from her comments, I would imagine that they're going to want to be a little bit more disciplined in some of those situations. I think the Canadian team is one that when they run hot and they're hitting those shots, they'll take them. They're very confident about it. But one of the things that I think you need to adjust sometimes is if you're missing those shots or if your opponents are dealing with them really well, you may just have to dial it back a little bit. I mean, you still take a shot if you've got like a really high percentage chance on a high priority target, which, I mean, at this level is basically everybody. But there are still times where if your team's not quite firing with that same degree of accuracy, that you might just need to play a little bit more patiently and wait for your team to set up on offense with you.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, do you have any advice if you were, say, Team Australia? What's your mindset going against Canada? They've been playing very strong throughout this tournament. They've very well oiled machine. You can tell they've been training together for quite some time. So how do you approach this if you're Australia?
Yeah, I think you could look at it as they may want to do the flip side. They may want to try and bait the Canadians into that more excitable style. And then if the Australian women can kind of deal with those throws, it's entirely possible that they'll be able to have the ball control and the advantage and the initiative for themselves. But we heard Captain Claire there saying they don't want to worry too much about what's happening on the other side. They want to play their game. She said she loves playing against the best women in the world. It's obviously both inspiring and really challenging, I think, to meet athletes from some of the other countries that you just don't get to play against at home. So I would imagine the Australians are just going to keep playing their game, They're going to keep trying to execute the way that's got them this far. Obviously, they'd rather be playing for gold, but I feel like they've been showing that they're one of the top 4 teams in the world pretty consistently through this whole tournament.
Absolutely.
So don't need to change it up too much.
Absolutely. Regardless, I think we're about to see some pretty exciting matches coming up for both the men and the women. It makes me so excited as a female dodgeball player to see so many amazing female athletes. Hopeful for like the future. Hopeful that more countries will come in future years as well for the women's side. There's a couple more countries here for the men than there are for the women this year. So we're hoping to see female dodgeball players grow throughout the world. LA is a big hub. It's probably the largest hub for female dodgeball in the States. There is an all-women's league here, so that's very unique. Every Wednesday night, about 100 girls get together to throw balls at each other's faces. It's a very unique and fun opportunity, and it's a great way for people that maybe have never played the sport before to get into it. It's a draft league, so no matter your skill level, no matter how you've played before, you have the opportunity to see court time. You will be on a team, and these amazing athletes that maybe come from softball or soccer or some other sport come in and can be fresh faces and fresh arms and surprise all of us. I think I'd mentioned Karina Amezcua, who's on Team USA, has only been playing dodgeball for about 2 years. So she came in, tried it for fun, and is now a stellar player. So I encourage anybody watching out there that might be interested in dodgeball to please come, play, try it, and we're all hoping to see the sport of dodgeball grow around the world.
Yeah, I think it's really good to have places where people who are new to the game or sometimes new to playing sports, period, can come in and feel like they can contribute. I think, there are some leagues where it can be off-putting if certain players kind of dominate the game all the time. Maybe you're a newer player, you come in, you're kind of relegated to a supporting role. I've seen that happen a lot to female players as well when they show up. If maybe they don't have the arm strength yet or the game sense yet, they're kind of relegated to those side roles, and that's not really a way that players are going to get a chance to develop. Like, even if somebody's not ready for it yet, it's really good to have leagues where people are either playing for fun or kind of more developmental leagues where everybody gets a chance to play in different positions. They can try things out, maybe develop some of the skills that they haven't had a chance to show yet. And that's part of the journey of getting up to this elite level, because not everybody who's on these national teams today just joined a league and wowed everybody from the start.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to put in some time and learn some skills, and then that unlocks your potential. So
Absolutely. And something that's really great about dodgeball that's unique than to other sports, there's not really a body type that is specific that makes you a great dodgeball player. It's not like you need to be really tall or really short or really fast or really anything. They're amazing players in all shapes and sizes in dodgeball, and you can have different kinds of strength. I said before, catches win games. And you can be a great catcher and have any type of body build. You can be a great thrower and have any type of body build. So it's a great sport for those who maybe have never quite found that game that they fit into previously. So it's unconventional in that sense, but really great and opens it up to a whole new market.
yeah, I think one of the things that's really nice about the sport, like you said, there's no specific body type that just lends itself really well to elite play. We see a wide variety on both the men's and the women's games. We see that like a lot of the power that comes out of people's throws is just about mechanics. Like we see a few different throw styles, but quite a few different kinds of throw styles working. We see some people who throw like the softball underhand kind of pitcher's toss, and that's really effective. We see some of the more like kind of classic baseball throws, like an outfielder chucking it to home plate. We see like some of those sidearm tries that have like I think of Captain Ryan Watson on the Australian team. I 100% know his first name now. He's got that kind of like low sidearm throw where his arm extends a lot, and it works really well for him. And in the other corner on the Australian men's side, Captain Luke Price has a sidearm that just hooks across the court all the time. A little bit different from a lot of other players, but that's his go-to action. And similarly for catching, I think we see some people who are more about going for it with their hands extended. Saw Rowena Mason just snatch one out of the air to end a point earlier in this tournament. But we also see a lot of people just try to kind of get their whole body in front of it and just sort of collapse and fold in on that ball. And those are things that, you can find whatever works for you based on like how your reflexes are, what your body type is. Yeah, I think it's one of the nice things about the sport. There are a lot of ways to play it.
Anybody can be good at it, and you can start at any age too. It's also unlike other sports that people generally start playing as children and go to camps for. Most of us started playing as adults. in our mid to late 20s, any age actually, and they develop and can become really top players. There's rec leagues all over the world. They're adult rec leagues is usually how these people start playing dodgeball. So it opens itself up to really anyone that's interested.
Yeah, for sure. I did find dodgeball in my late 20s, and yeah, I just had some friends who played. It sounded like a riot, and even though my individuals team got crushed in our first game, I was hooked from the beginning. I was also very surprised how much of a sweat I worked up despite having no idea what I was doing and not really thinking dodgeball was going to be as much of a workout as playing like football or soccer or ultimate frisbee, some of the other sports I played in the past. Dodgeball is tiring in a whole different way.
It's a full body workout. It's cardio, it's strength training to a certain degree. You come out sore with muscles you didn't even know you had. That's something that's always unique and fun. But the adrenaline's so always pumping in the games that you don't feel it until the next day. Then you might be taking a few ibuprofen to curb that pain a bit.
I know after my first game, the next day when I was just kind of in the shower, just trying to like reach for things in the shower rack that were a little bit higher than my shoulder height was like agony. My throwing arm just was not used to that.
Oh, Jake Mason, president of USA Dodgeball, just announced that we are just about to start. Sounds like the teams are to the courts. So we have moved around the stadium today to make it more of an amphitheater style. So there's one court rather than the 5 that you had seen in days past. One court with stands all around, VIP booths even, so you'll see some rowdy crowds in the camera angles. I know that the Aussies specifically bought several VIP booths, which are right on the court's edge to cheer on their team, so that's really fun for them. So yeah, really exciting setup that we have here today, and I expect to see some great dodgeball to go along with it.
Yeah, and I think we are going to get ready to toss it over to Jake for the opening ceremonies. So let's head over to him.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin. Welcome to the World Dodgeball Championships 2018. My name is Jake Mason. I am the president of USA Dodgeball. Thank you for being here. I would like to introduce the man who really does all the hard work, Mr. Dwayne Wazinski, the president of the World Dodgeball Federation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for all being here. Today is going to be awesome. This is the 7th edition of the event, and bronze medal games, gold medal games never fail to disappoint. They're always very high octane. Other than the players, how many of you were here last night to watch the semis? We got some people here? And the semis were phenomenal. All the games were good. They were tight. There was high intensity, high emotion, and that's what you want in a match of this caliber. So thank you for coming back here today and watching this all resolved, and we're really excited about it. Over the course of time, when we talk to the players get interviewed, the coaches get interviewed, we get interviewed. And one of the questions that comes up a lot is, why do we do this? And why do we do this is an important question. Because as a lot of you probably know, we don't do it for the money. There is no money to be had. And I don't know if many of you know the extent of the sacrifices that the players and the coaches make to be at an event like this. Players have to pay all their own way. Sure, they raise funds, but that's a difficult thing, and that's usually something they have to do themselves as well. But they pay a lot of money. They take time off work, right? Their loved ones make sacrifices. Their family and their parents travel to be here. Many of these athletes will plan their entire vacation schedule for several years around events like this, and it's a huge sacrifice. And that sacrifice goes right through the chain. It goes to the coaches and the trainers, and as I said, feds and family. So they don't do it for the money. They don't do it for the glory either. Because winning is nice, and it's great to have that medal, and it's great to come out on top. But the reality is, this is still a new sport, and it's a growing sport. And as such, it's what we call a friends and family sport. So most of you here today know the players, and you have a connection to those players, and that's why you're here. So they're not doing it to be on Sportsnet at the end of the night in the top 10 plays of the week. Right? So it's not the glory. So why is it that they do it? If you talk to any player here, they will almost certainly make the comment that dodgeball is a special community. It's a different community. The growth of the sport here relies on things that traditional sports take for granted. This is a sport that's based on integrity, sportsmanship, accountability, friends, love and appreciation. And if you go to some of the tournaments that happen across North America, Asia, South America, you'll see something very interesting, and that's that there'll be a team made up of Canadians and Americans at a big tournament, or Australians and New Zealanders and Malaysians and people from Singapore all participating on the same teams. And the community is very tight-knit. And you'll see during the course of the games, even at this level where the lines are drawn and the intensity is high, you will see players hugging it out, talking to each other, sharing a laugh, grabbing a drink, because that's what the community is. So at the end of the day, why do we do this? We do it for ourselves, and we do it for each other. And everybody here, when you see the highs and the lows of every game, the good things, the cheers, the controversies, the upsets, you will see that in every single player and their teammates, with each other, across teams, across lines. So that's why we're here today. So what I'm welcoming you today to is not to the sport and to the event. The sport is amazing, the event will be fantastic. But I'm welcoming you to this community and to be a part of something that grows in time, has become very special to all of us. So welcome to our dodgeball family, and welcome to this celebration of that. And I'm going to hand this back over to Jake. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. Woo. We made it. We're here. It's the finals day, everybody. I'm standing. You're sitting, standing, functional. Again, welcome on behalf of the World Dodgeball Federation and on behalf of USA Dodgeball. It has been an amazing week for me, hosting athletes from all around the globe. I know most of you jumped off that plane at LAX with a dream and a cardigan. And here we are, realizing that dream on the biggest stage for the sport of dodgeball. We are so proud to host all of you. I've had the honor to welcome new federations to the championship, such as Argentina. As a new country, walking in here, it must be so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. Your tummy's turning and you're feeling kind of homesick. But then you step on that court and the butterflies fly away. And all you can see is that gold medal right in front of you. I have been absolutely floored by the high level of athleticism I've seen throughout the week, as well as the high level of sportsmanship and camaraderie. This is why I wrote this down. You can't really know how you'll perform under stress until you're in that situation. You think you're prepared, you think you got it, and then you're in the moment and everything changes. That's why you'll see me at the bar in rare form later. But if you have a good team backing you up, you realize that you can get through anything on and off the court. And all of you are here with your teams, with your families, with your dodgeball families, with your friends, and you have that. So no matter what happens here on the court, we have each other, and that's been just amazing to watch and experience. So thank you. I personally am very, very lucky to have so much support from so many of you here today. We have some, this list is too long. Pretty much, there's a lot of thank yous in the program. There's a lot of people we miss. Lynn Kirkpatrick, Kelly Solomoni, Casey Reed, Kay Cairns, Alex Setlowski, Dwayne Mazinski, Brendan Tickner, yes. Helen, Alice, Datha, Craig, the Hyatt family, all of them. All of the Merglers and the Aussie drinking team. Marcy, just everybody I'm forgetting. I'm getting to the refs. It literally says next, make sure you thank all the head refs. But now I won't. Actually, and thank you to the refs, all of the refs, all the people who came out and volunteered. Especially our head refs. They have been through so much. They took time off work. They got here. They dealt with all of you, and they're standing and they're fake smiling, and it's fantastic. Thank you to all the heads of the other member organizations as well. All the federations in the WDBF. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for all your commitment to the sport and everything we're doing here today. I just cannot wait to see what we grow into. It's already so amazing. So, yeah, so let's put our hands up and let's enjoy the biggest party the USA has to offer. Let's go! Teams, let's warm up. Let's go. We're about to start the bronze medal match. Canada and Australia women.
Welcome back to the WDBF World Championships here in Los Angeles, California. That was Mr. Jake Mason, president of USA Dodgeball, giving that heartwarming speech. That was really nice to hear.
Yeah, he's been a ball of nervous energy this whole time. He's been working pretty hard to make sure that this whole event goes off without a hitch, and when the inevitable hitches, thanks to the weather or whatever, come up, making sure that they're managed really well. So big thanks to Jake Mason and the rest of the team here for just doing a bang-up job, I'd say.
Yeah, like you mentioned, putting on an event like this is a lot of work. This is a massive event, getting the airport hangar that we're in, along with everything from concessions to permits to visas for some of the countries coming in here. He even got letters from the mayor of West Hollywood to help get visas for some of the countries to come in to the United States. So there was a lot of pre-work that went into making an event like this happen. And thank you, Jake Mason, for all the work you've done, all the entire team of individuals that have done this to pull off an amazing day that we have today.
Yeah, a lot of stuff behind the scenes that unless you try to organize a tournament like this, you have no idea what it actually takes. But yeah, so we are going to, pretty soon, we're going to be able to turn it over to the athletes. We've talked a bit about how the Canadian and Australian women have a great friendly rivalry together. I'm not going to say that either team will be, out for blood against the other, but I'm sure that they're not going to let up on their throws, their attempts to catch, protect their teammates.
No, they want a medal. They don't want to go home empty-handed. Unfortunately, in this match, only one team will walk away with a piece of metal going home. So they are fighting for that bronze medal. So they don't want to go home empty-handed.
Yeah, that's always the worst thing about the bronze medal match, is that only one team actually gets to leave with some hardware. Like the others are just so close, and yet
right there. You might be able to hear some of the music, the aptly chosen Party in the USA song that they've chosen as a warm-up song for the bronze medal match. Very entertaining for Jake Mason to choose.
We have a few more thank yous being read off here. Oh yeah, there are so many names on the list that I'm sure Jake would like to be thanking, that it's kind of hard to fit them all in without this just being, half an hour of names. But yeah, big thanks to everybody involved. We also heard from President Dwayne Wazinski of the World Dodgeball Federation, who's been kind of working hard to kind of grow the game on an international level too. We have, I think this is the biggest turnout by countries that the WDBF championships have seen yet, and each year it continues to grow. We saw Argentina here for the first time, Italy here for the second time. And yeah, I'm just hoping we see even more countries both returning and joining the sport next year.
Absolutely. Just to answer those who are watching on YouTube, you are at the right station. There is only one channel going on today. The next game is Canada women versus Australia women. They are just getting a little warmed up on the main court right now, and we'll be tossing it over to them to see the beginning of the match very shortly. Please stay tuned with us as we try to entertain you.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's important that the athletes who are about to play have some time to warm up. I mean, we had the opening ceremonies there for the final day. It's important to have that stuff too, but we want to make sure that the athletes have enough time to properly stretch, warm up their shoulders, whatever. I think that's another thing, that there's no kind of standard warm-up for a lot of these players. We'll see a lot of just kind of dynamic stretching or jogging around the arena or just throwing a ball back and forth with teammates. Yeah, whatever works.
Unfortunately, all the warm-ups in the world probably won't make their nerves completely go away right now. That's expected. They, like we mentioned, they don't want to go home empty-handed. They're wanting this bronze medal match, and especially with all their friends and family watching on the YouTube stream or here in the stands. Definitely the biggest crowd to date that we've had for this event that are here right now. Full medal stands, the VIP booth that you maybe saw with the Australian drinking team along the sides of the court. So a lot of eyes watching today.
Yeah. The Australian drinking team sporting those red blazers.
Yep.
You'll easily be able to see those, I think, on the sidelines. They look pretty sharp.
And I'm sure we'll be hearing some pretty coordinated cheers from the Australian drinking team. Australia has some pretty impressive cheers that you may have heard over the microphones up to now, and I'm sure they won't let down today.
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel like we need to develop something like that in Canada.
I know. U.S. and Canada doesn't have a lot of creativity when it comes to our cheers. It's kind of the standard. Go team go, USA, Canada. We don't have a lot of songs like the Aussies do.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we can build on that for next year.
Yeah.
Maybe come back with something a little more inspiring and entertaining.
Yeah, we'll try. I don't know if we'll ever quite get to the level that the Aussies are at, but we can sure try.
And one thing that Dwayne Wazinski mentioned was that, the matches aren't necessarily going to find their way onto the ESPN top 10 plays of the day, but I do want to shout out that there is a wonderful Instagram account called Best of Dodgeball. We've already seen a bunch of highlights from this tournament featured on Best of Dodgeball, and I mean, my favorite thing about that is it's kind of a curated one-stop shop of just some of the best action, the most spectacular plays, some of the most ridiculous reactions from people that you're going to be able to see. So if you're ever just looking for something to show your friends and family who are new to the sport, what can happen, Best of Dodgeball on Instagram and Facebook. That's my preferred place to go.
We just heard from Jake Mason. Game is starting in 5 minutes. So the athletes are just finishing up their huddles, determining their starting squads, getting all warmed up as they're about to face off.
Yeah, and we're going to see who has the edge in the bronze medal match. I think, Canada wants to keep that medal streak going. Australia also, I believe, medaled last year. So both teams, one of those teams is probably going to be a little bit disappointed in the end. But I don't know. I just feel, once again, nervous for both of the teams.
Definitely.
We've been able to make friends with quite a few of the players over the duration of this event, and it'll be bittersweet at the end, where you're happy for some of the nice folks you see who win it, and not so happy for the others. But
all in all, everyone has such a fun time here at these tournaments. It's more like Jake and everyone had mentioned. It's people are taking their vacation time. This is their vacation. They pay to come out here on their own time. So they don't, even though the medal is very important, they don't just do it for that. They do it for the camaraderie, and everyone's such good sports. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the sportsmanship I've seen so far in this tournament. Of course, there's been some close calls and lots of ref huddles, but overall, everyone's friendly on both sides of the court.
Yeah, I feel like even once the disappointment of losing a close match fades, generally everybody seems to look back at these events with a lot of fondness, because obviously just making it here, competing against the best of the best, and having a chance to show what you're made of is a huge opportunity for a lot of these people. I know on the Canadian side, it's like a long, difficult process just to qualify. Each province has some kind of tryout process that, in Ontario, where I play and where a lot of the national team comes from, you have to win your way into the national championships through a provincial qualifying system, and then at the national championships, the players who the selection committee find outstanding are then named to like I think it was a 20-person roster, and then from there the actual national team is selected. It takes a long time, and it's a system designed to try and make sure that the best from all across a very large country can be highlighted and assessed, and we can really see who earns a spot on the national team.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting. I was talking to Sade Berkeley yesterday. I met her about a year ago at a different tournament, played with her. She's an amazing player from Edmonton. And she had mentioned that when she had made the Nat 20 list national squad, she had moved even to Toronto to continue to train with the team to ensure that she would be on the same page as everyone coming here. So people have made some big sacrifices to make it this far, and dodgeball is really important to them. So that's always really impressive. I was very impressed to hear that. And she's seen quite a bit of court time here in this tournament, so that training and team camaraderie has paid off.
Yeah, she's a new face on the Canadian national team. As you said, she was in Toronto for the last several months. I got to play with her and against her. She was kind of immersed in our dodgeball scene in the city, and yeah, I feel like she's really impressed on the world stage so far. And I know the American tryout process was a little more rigorous this year than in years past.
It was. So in the United States, they had put scouts in each region. So we are split up into 4 regions: north, east, south, and west. They invited 40 of the top players from across the country to a combine in Dallas. It was a 2-day combine for men's and women's. From there, the selected scouts chose the top 15 names. The top 9 were the ones who were selected for the team, with 6 alternates that were told that they could be activated come closer to the tournament if players got injured or if they just saw a need for another skill set in some sort of way. For the women, 1 more player got activated, Katie Sanchez, making their total to 10. And for the men, 3 players got activated, Eli Hashimoto, Glenn Spacier, and Cody Stidham. Eli Hashimoto probably being a fan favorite that we've been speaking about quite a bit. I've dubbed him America's sweetheart because he's 17 years old, he's a junior in high school, and has just really wowed everyone here on the world stage, that even here in the States, a lot of us had not heard of him before, and he has been very impressive. So so the selection committee was unique and new and tried to be as fair and equal across the board as possible, to not just give favorites to the names you maybe have heard of in years past, and at least in a couple cases we have met some new amazing players.
Yeah, and I think as the sport grows in both of our countries, there's been an effort to try and identify like truly who the best players are and bring them together, compete against each other internally within the country to see what kind of recipe will make up the best national team. I think it's always a challenge when the team's going to be potentially made up from people from across such diverse different backgrounds and play styles and geographies. It's hard to make that fair and comprehensive because we just don't always have the resources to give it as much time as we want. But yeah, both countries have made huge strides, and we are about to start the match.
We are about to start the match. From what I understand, Team Australia's selection committee is just as rigorous. They also have a roster similar to the US and Canada, where they pick a longer list and then tighten it down as you get closer to the tournament. So these are the ladies that have made the starting squad, getting ready to go.
Bronze medal up for grabs, and here we go.
Ooh, big swing right off the bat. Australia losing number 3, Rosie Everett.
And Canada starting with the early player advantage. You see McNeil throwing into the middle, along with O'Quinn.
Five on 5.
And the Australian counter taking out the player in the middle there. That was McNeil. Knocked out.
Several balls going to McNeil in the middle.
And there we see, taking out O'Quinn. And Canada down to just 3. Some nice accurate throws from Australia to start things off. Now we have Mora, Croft, and Rowe remaining on the court for Team Canada. There we see a shot at Fayad, eliminating her. Now we see Holcomb, Spillane, and Young. Young the one to take the shot, but she's countered by Rowe and knocked out of the play. We're down to 3-on-3. Canada now will take their turn on offense. Oh no, Australia instead taking a shot toward Croft. Blocks that cleanly. And now as the balls and players are even, the burden shifts to Canada to throw. And we see a try toward Holcomb, missing. Canada again to the middle, blocked, countered, and Mora strikes Spillane.
Beautiful swing by Mora.
Now we see some good quick back and forth from both teams. Canada finding the edge on that. Now Holcomb and Mason are going to need to do some work. Rowe pressuring the line, but backing off so her team can set up on offense. We see 2 balls at Mason, finding the mark. And it is going to fall to Samantha Holcomb.
Mora for Team Canada, quite consistent with her swings here.
And Croft charging. We see those shots connecting from Canada, who go up with the 1-0 lead. A quick point. A lot of accurate throws from both teams, but Canada able to find the edges early on and establish an early lead. So I think we're seeing both teams showing off the fact that they've got good, accurate throws. They've got that confidence to take those back and forth shots at the other team and trust that their teammates will protect them. This time Canada coming out on top.
You can hear the Canadian crowd loving that first game. Oh, and the Aussies rebuting with their own cheer.
And their megaphone.
They have a couple megaphones, I'm pretty sure.
Round 2, Croft getting that ball real quick to Barry, but she misses her shot. I see the aggressiveness from those Canadian women up more than halfway, but in this case they cannot protect Croft, who gets taken out. And we see that windmill throw going toward Everett from Jess O'Quinn. But Australia is still 6 strong. Coming to the line. And that shot missing a little bit high from Everett. Canada comes together, figures out their plan, and we see a couple of windmills again. And Canada connecting, bringing this player count back down to 5-on-5. We see some of those softball skills on display with those windmill fakes and throws.
They are terrifying when they're coming at you. I can vouch. I have had, I don't know if it's the pleasure or the punishment to be on the receiving end of some softball swings.
Yeah, just a totally different windup. Ooh, and Mason struck out, and then a retribution shot attempted, but Mora counters that and knocks out Spillane. And Canada again keeping that accuracy going. We've got the 5-on-3 player edge. A couple of shots toward the middle. I'm enjoying this back and forth from the crowd. Fans from both teams showing their support.
Hoping you at home can hear this as well. It's another competition in and of itself.
That's right. No medals handed out for this one, sadly. Fayad hit out there. A good shot.
For those at home that may not know, the back line for the women, that first white one that you can see is a hard out, so the players also have to be cognizant not to step off the court. If they touch that white line by accident, they are called out, which is not the way you want to necessarily step out in a medal game like this.
And there we see Everett. The burden to throw was on her, but she didn't want to leave herself too exposed to a counterattack. It's a tough spot to be in, though, because against five good arms, you have to find your moments, but now she's going to get one on the counterattack. Strikes out Barry. And Everett doing well for herself there to bring this point a little closer. Shoots toward Mora. And we see number 10, Jess O'Quinn, going low to try and avoid that shot. Mora blocking. And now Mora drawing that shot in, but blocked cleanly. Canada now going to go on the offensive. Last time they threw all 3 balls. We'll see if they're... Oh, I think Everett absorbing a headshot there. Tough to block everything coming in. Canada once again firing on all cylinders, and those big throwers are finding their targets. So now I think Australia, they're just going to need to maybe try and step up a little more aggressively and drive those Canadian counterattacks back a little more, or find the counters of their own, because so far it's just Canada connecting a little bit more often.
Yeah, a little bit more accuracy, it seems like, on Canada's side right now.
Yeah, another shot from Everett. She's been a strong performer so far in this match. Canada on offense. That one blocked well by Young. Now the shot burden over to the Australians. That throw from Spillane missing. She'll get a ball passed over to her from a teammate again so that she can resume protection duties. That one from Croft. I think we saw, was that a double? Fayad hit out. Yeah, I think that ricochet found its way over to her teammate as well. So Australia, unfortunately, losing 2.
Bringing it to 4-5.
Refs are talking again. And unlike yesterday, now when we hear a whistle, we know 100% which court actually needs to stop play.
Definitely. And they've added a few more refs to the court for these final matches to ensure that more eyes are looking at each of these balls being thrown. It's a tall task when there's only a couple of refs on the court, since there are 6 balls being thrown at any given time, so they have doubled up on the refs to ensure fair calls for each country.
Yeah, as we mentioned, anybody who has tried reffing, of course, knows it can be a challenge to follow the play all the time. Oh, there we see a windmill throw. The O'Quinn mill from number 10, Jess O'Quinn. Now Australia with the ball advantage. Oh, and there's an aggressive throw again from O'Quinn, knocking Mason out. Yeah, Canada once again showing that great accuracy, able to get through the blocking balls. More unable to block that one cleanly. And she's knocked out. Good shot there from Alex Young. Oh, and we see Australia down to just 1. Facing 4 from Canada, aggressively, confidently coming to the line, missing Croft there. Ooh, and a shot toward O'Quinn. So unfortunately, neither of those connecting. Canada going to have a chance on offense. Oh, and that late shot from Croft still blocked well. Nearly going over the line.
Struggling to get all the balls on her side.
Yep, but Young keeping control. Good shot toward Croft, but missing. And O'Quinn jumping that one. O'Quinn going low on that one. A good confident play from Alex Young here. She will need to be confident in order to knock off these 4 Canadians. She absorbs all 4 balls, comes up on the counter, gunning for Bear. No.
And a hit.
Looks for Croft first, then Barry. And this time going cross court. Oh, and finally, number 10, Jess O'Quinn, is able to close that out.
Impressive play by Team Australia. They're staying alive, able to take off one of Canada's players, controlling the play of the game, really, in the last minute there.
Yeah, and I really like what Alex Young was doing, because, as we've mentioned before, when you're 1 on several, you need to take some chances. She was playing with a lot of confidence. She was connecting on a couple of those throws. We know she can catch as well, so is showing a high degree of confidence there. Unfortunately, facing tough odds against a tough team, so Canada assumes a 3-0 lead. And there we see, again off the rush, both teams willing to play it a little bit aggressively, and the refs saying that Everett was knocked out. And now it's Canada striking again. That's Lisa Mora on to number 21, Captain Claire Spillane. Now Now as the shot clock gets low, Australia takes a shot that misses high. Do you see the aforementioned Shade Berkeley now on the court for Canada? Oh, and then in the back and forth, Shauna Rowe hit out as Canada also made a kill, but Australia fighting to keep this one close as they're currently down 2 players. That shot connecting on Croft though. You see Fayad holding down the other corner, trying to make sure that a counterattack does not come out from the Canadian side.
Jen Ritchie, team captain for Canada on the left, looking for that corner shot.
Now she's got that deceptive kind of release, a quick flick of the wrist sometimes.
If I'm Team Australia, I'm also careful not to throw at Jen Ritchie alone. We have seen her pull off some amazing catches in this tournament.
Yeah, she is definitely known for her ability to catch tough shots. Berkeley's throw blocked by Fayad. And we see the calls being made from the middle. Fayad throwing toward Mora, who goes. We're down to a 2-on-2. Australia really wants this to get themselves on the board in this bronze medal match. Oh, good low dodging. Canada now only 1 ball. This one in the hands of Mora, number 1, who's going real aggressive with it, but she gets countered. Mason says, fine, if you want to throw that last ball away, I'll make you pay for it. Now we see both shots going toward Ritchie, missing the mark. Young and Mason up to the line. Ritchie alone sends one toward Young. And that was close, but bouncing a little bit short.
If I'm Team Australia, I'm wanting to really throw together at Jen Ritchie here. We don't want to make it easier for her to pull off a catch.
Ritchie, however, also is probably guessing that's their plan. She'll fake or release those throws. I almost wonder, we heard in the interview Ritchie talking about loving to get into those one-on-one situations with her best friend, number 35, Rowena Mason. Maybe that's why she keeps going for Alex Young.
About 8:30 left in the game.
We get the one-on-one between the best friends, so
You're hearing the cheering from both teams. Canada and Australia loving this matchup right now.
Mason trying to go low, find an ankle shot on Ritchie. They know each other's game so well that, and they're both elite catchers, so Mason forcing Ritchie to backpedal. Now Ritchie takes the line, suggests the low sidearm shot. Blocked well by Mason, who goes low and blocks decisively down to the floor. Mason's throw missing to the side. Ritchie sends one low that Mason hops. That one skimming a little short. Ritchie. Oh, that one blocked a little bit higher. Oh, Mason throwing high this time. Ritchie getting a blocking ball in front of it.
Strong blocks by both players.
Yeah, Mason choosing a pure defensive posture here. I think she might look catch. Oh, and it's the disarm. We haven't actually seen too many of those in the tournament, but if you're holding a blocking ball and an incoming throw knocks it out of your hand, you are out. And that's what happened to Rowena Mason there.
Great play by Team Australia on that one. I know they were hoping to get on the board there, but they're making Canada work for these points.
Yeah, that last one coming down to the one-on-one. Mason definitely had her chances, but Ritchie showing patience, opportunistic shots, and yeah, ends up winning it on the disarm. So Canada with a 4-0 lead with just over 7 minutes remaining in the first half. So 20-minute halves. At the end of each half, we will have a sudden death point at which there is no blocking. But for now, we're back underway for the 5th set of this bronze medal match between Canada and Australia. It looks like a hit onto Young there. Well, Canada again carving out that early player lead. That throw toward Berkeley finds her. That is Spillane, I believe, on the kill. 5-on-5 now. See the throws coming in, finding Jess O'Quinn.
Nice ankle shot there. It's right where you want to put the ball.
Yeah, so now Lisa Mora taking over that corner. We see throws from Australia at both corners, eluded by those respective players. Jack O'Quinn, number 25, and the other on the left side. And ooh, big shot there. Spillane knocked out. Not physically, but off the court.
When we can hear the thud of the ball all the way over here on this side of the court, you know that was a tough throw.
Oh, and that's, I believe, Rowe making the catch there before she got hit out. So good confidence at the line from number 11, Shauna Rowe, catching out Rowena Mason of Team Australia. Canada with the 4-on-2 player edge. Good shot from Fayad, just missing there. This time that shot blocked, but Canada still with the player edge means that they're going to have to take the shots. And Australia now having earned that 4th ball will get a chance to go on the offensive, but I would not be surprised to see aggression from number 77 Croft here. She goes defensive Berkeley with some big fakes to keep Fayad back. Now Canada back on offense. This time they go toward Dawson and miss. Fayad and Dawson talking about how they're going to play this out. Shot onto Berkeley, finds it. It's like Berkeley couldn't block that cleanly. And now Team Australia going to have a chance to whittle those numbers down once more. Throw toward Mora missing. And let's see where Canada sends this. Looks like they're going toward Fayad and find her. Leaving Dawson in a tougher spot. She's shown some good play when she's been the solo player left. This time looking for Mora, who pops right back up, holds the line. Dawson firing, hangs on to that last ball, which I think is probably a good idea. Don't want to leave yourself totally defenseless here. Dawson on defense. Yeah, unfortunately there, Dawson left up a creek with no paddle, and Team Canada taking that 5-0 advantage.
Seems like we've seen Dawson be the last one in on the court several times throughout this tournament. I think you had made a comment yesterday. If it's Canada, it's usually Jen Ritchie. If it's Australia, it's usually Dawson that's going to be the last one left on the court.
Yeah, certain players just seem to, I don't know if it's just that they have a knack for being elusive, or if it's that they're not targeted as aggressively by the other team. Probably some kind of mix. But yeah, I think that was the first point that Dawson played in this match, but she's been a steady performer for the Australians. And I believe that was a timeout called by Team Australia. Certainly they're in danger of having this bronze medal match just really get away from them. Like right now, that lead is not insurmountable with just under 4 minutes left in the first half. Australia has shown that they're able to connect on a lot of their shots, but so far I'd say like they haven't been making the catches that we've seen out of them sometimes, and they've been just a little less accurate than Team Canada. So
yeah.
Unfortunately right now they're falling behind.
And there's a whole nother half to go. So we said earlier, on average, usually games are about 3-ish minutes. So there's still plenty of time left that Canada could make, or Australia can make a comeback and tighten the gap.
And both teams setting up similar rosters to the last point. Let's see what we get off the rush. This time a late throw. Canada going to get a chance to set up themselves. And there we see the connection. This time Dawson won't be the last one left unless she gets caught back in. Now on offense, that's a good shot onto number 47, Brogan Moore. But they lose Spillane in the exchange, so now Australia still down slightly on player count. They're going to need to find some edges as they work up to the line with 4 balls. Big pressure from Barry. That shot sailing a little high. And so now to Canada to the line. Number 18, McNeil calling the shots. They go toward the middle, but Everett avoids it. And on the counter, that was blocked by McNeil.
Making it a 4-on-4 now. It's like Canada with possession.
Yeah, the shot clock back onto Australia. Ooh, aggressive shot there from Jess O'Quinn. Returning to the Canadian national team. And then here we see the shots onto O'Quinn, and they knock her out. Australia with their first player advantage in a little while, as they've got the 4-3 edge. And there we see a throw toward Fayad, blocked, and a counter right onto McNeil. Australia now the 4-2 edge. They're looking to get themselves on the board. Ritchie and Berkeley swapping. I think Ritchie likes that right side for being able to go cross body just like that. And Berkeley with that lefty throw, able to threaten a wide side of the court.
Looks like Australia is going for Berkeley for this first team throw. Trying to leave Jen Ritchie in at the end again.
Yeah, we see, I think, Berkeley just avoiding that shot from Young. Yeah, you're right. So far, Australia definitely targeting Berkeley with this multi-ball attack. Still, and they find her that time. And so once again, Jen Ritchie, last one left. This time it's Canada down 4-1 in players. Blocked by Fayad, an aggressive play back. We saw Young coming up aggressively. Fayad trying to take that shot and catching Ritchie backing up, but unsuccessful. Ooh, Ritchie absorbing one off the head there, but she's okay.
Team Australia is excited about that one. You can hear their crowd go wild about that. Putting Australia on the board. Canada 5, Australia 1. A little over a minute left in this half. If time runs out, it will go into sudden death. No blocking. What that means is that players are no longer allowed to block balls. If they accidentally block a ball, which is a very natural player reaction, they are called out. So there still will be at least one more point in the first half.
Oh, we see Amelie Byam inserted into the lineup. Ooh, and off the hit. Byam can't find it. Oh, but I think she did get off as she tried to go for that that team catch to save number 4 Barry. Byam didn't end up getting hit by the ricochet, but she did go over the center line. Ref's right there to make that call. Ooh, and in the back and forth we
Big
see
exchanges.
Yeah, Dawson and Berkeley knocked out.
Australia's feeling that last point. They're playing much more aggressively, it seems, so far in this game.
Yeah, they've potentially got the energy. See the throw from Young missing. But now Canada has Moore, Jess O'Quinn, and Lisa Mora coming up to the line. They hit out Young. Spillon, though, holding the line, drawing in a shot. Australia still with the player edge and only one ball on the Canadian side. Mora elects to throw it. They counter, knock her out, and the time is just about to expire. Australia finishing strong heading into the no blocking portion, which, as Elisa mentioned, yeah, you can't use that ball that you're holding to protect yourself anymore.
It's much more of a catcher's game, Dodgers game, I guess.
Exactly. The good straight fastball at somebody that kind of forces them to catch it or dodge it. I think those fastballs become a little more important. You don't need to curve it or trick your opponents and get around their blocks so much. You just have to make sure you put it on the body. Australia's going to have an easier time of that with extra players to work with. We just have Jess O'Quinn and Brogan Moore in play still. We see some aggression from both sides early on. Throws from close to the back. So far, all of those are missing, though. Spillon showing aggression. I think her shot hit the ball that was in front of O'Quinn and on the court.
So what that means for the watchers at home, if one ball hits another ball, the ball is dead. The only way a ball can die is if it hits the ground or another ball. So if two balls collide in the air and then hit two players, they are still safe.
One in the back and forth. Australia takes it. Both Canadians hit out, and I think maybe it was Holcomb who had been hit as well, but either way, Australia still had 3 or so players remaining, so they get their second point in a row to close out the first half.
That's 2 in a row for Australia. So if they can keep this momentum going into the second half, I think they're going to give Canada a little bit more run for their money.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Australia needed to get a couple of points before the end of the first half. It was going to be tricky to mount a comeback if they had a goose egg on the board initially. So pretty sure they're pretty happy with themselves going into the second half on a high note.
Absolutely.
Do you think they did anything differently there?
I do think that after that first win that they got, they really were feeling more excited, feeling themselves a little bit. It seemed like they were playing more aggressively, pushing the line a bit more. Before that, it seemed like Canada was controlling the game.
Yes.
Canada was consistently pushing that middle line, keeping Australia back on their heels, keeping them backpedaling a little bit more. But then it seemed like Australia gained a little bit more confidence after that win that they received, and they kind of remembered, hey, we can push this line too. Hey, we have just as much firepower as they have, so let's push this a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think the Australian team found the tempo of the match there and took control a little bit more. Driving those Canadian players back, maybe making them feel a little less safe at taking the center line away. And Australians ending up hitting a lot more of their shots in the last 2 points too. So obviously in some of the back and forth, they were able to come out with player advantages and then use those advantages to work the angles and the counterattacks against the Canadian side and build some momentum for themselves.
Yeah, if they can carry this into the second half, I think this could continue to be an exciting game. We still have a full 20 minutes left in the second half, so we saw 8 matches here in the first half. We could see just as many in the second. If they end up being tied going after the 20 minutes ends, it will go into no blocking, and then overtime beyond that.
Yeah, and I think we also saw the Australian coaching staff calling a timeout, and sometimes that's what is needed to make sure that you can squash the momentum of the other team. Canada up 5-0 at that point, and then Australia's timeout helping to turn things around a little bit. And we're underway in the second half. Nobody takes that shot off the
looks like Canada leaves a couple balls on the line. Australia gaining ball possession early on with 5.
Yeah, that is a mistake from Canada for sure. Australia with a big edge to start this. And they capitalize with an early hit. When you have 5 balls, it gives you a lot to work with, and Mora paying the price there. But Canada answers. And I think only 1 casualty there. So Canada not suffering too badly for giving up the 5 balls on the start. Now that they've been able to bring it back to a 5-on-5. Here we see a shot toward Jack O'Quinn, number 25.
Shaggers working hard out there, you can see. Those who are in the red vest are the designated shaggers.
And in the back and forth, we see a lot of damage done.
Absolutely.
We lost 2 players per side. Sorry, 3 players off the Canadian side. So Australia coming up with all the advantages here. Oh, and they find a double hit.
That was the game. Wow. So what we saw there for the player watchers at home is that it was a ricochet. So it hit the first player on the right, ricocheted off, hit the second Canadian player, finishing out the last 2. So Australia took that game, making the score 3-5.
Yeah, unfortunately for Canada there, that ball, when it impacts the first player, it's still live until, as you said, it hits the floor or something else that makes the ball go dead. And if a live ball hits a second player, that player can still be eliminated. So Byam, the victim of an unfortunate bounce there, and Australia with their 3rd point in a row. This time Canada finds all the balls.
If I'm Australia, I'm probably feeling pretty good right now. I'm going to guess that they're going to be pushing the line a bit more in this game.
Yeah, and we see a shot toward Mora is blocked. Canada on offense now. They go to the middle, but on the counter, back and forth, we see Barry knocked out. But also one being lost from Australia. So that is Alex Young. He's been holding down the right corner for the Australian team for a while. I believe that is a timeout called. Teams do get one timeout per half. I didn't see who called it, but I'm going to guess that that was a timeout from Team Canada. Because if they want to use that same philosophy of kind of regaining the momentum of the match, I mean, right now Australia's definitely got it. They've been hitting the shots that they wanted in a way that they weren't at the beginning. So Australia still huddling up, finishing with a cheer.
There are some fun cheers. I know Canada has one that goes, when I say Canada, you say A. That was a fun one that you might be able to hear.
And we see a shot from Croft. Missing Holcomb there. And there's a shot from Everett going a little high. Team Canada to the line. How they look for number 3, Rosie Everett. Each team only throwing one ball at a time so far. Croft now charging after she gets thrown at, but decides to wait for her team. Maybe this is an example of what Captain Ritchie was saying during her interview of the team trying to play a little more patiently. Oh, and there they find a couple of throws. Croft blocking a return shot. Canada now 5-on-4. Byam at the line protecting that ball as it rolls back to her side. She passes it off to Mora so that Canada can set up once more.
If you are just tuning in, this is the ladies' bronze medal match between Canada and Australia. It is 3-5 in Canada's favor.
And Canada, the victim of another bounce play there. Byam was hit by the initial shot. It bounced over to Mora. I think the referees are talking about where those bounces went. It might have hit Mora's ball. No, she's still off. So the Australians getting another double hit. I'm sure they'll take a lucky bounce like that here and there if it comes their way.
3-on-3, very close game here.
Yeah, now we see shot from Dawson.
Oh, looks like that may have been a hand shot.
Yep.
Honest out for Team Canada.
Yeah, Croft knocked out there, so it'll be up to Rowe and Jack O'Quinn. They go to the middle. Rowe gets countered though. Australia.
One player in left for Canada.
Yeah, 3-on-1 edge for Australia. We will see if they can bring this home. Dawson. Oh, yeah, there we see Spillon and Dawson throwing, connecting, and taking this 4th point in a row. We got ourselves a match.
We do. Canada took the first 5 in a row, but really putting Australia on their heels, looking like it would be a much different game than it looks like right now. Australia finally found their groove. They kind of got some confidence back, it looks like, and they've gone on a 4-0 run now. So it's really anyone's game. There's still plenty of time left on the clock to determine who's going to walk home with some hardware, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, both teams with those point streaks. Currently, Australia riding high on 4 in a row. One more, and they're going to tie this up. Got about 16 and a half minutes remaining in the half, if I'm reading that scoreboard correctly. Fans from both teams trying to cheer their teams on to greater success.
.23 left on the clock.
Oh, and another double hit. That goes from Byam right into Croft. I know those can be deflating for the Canadians, but you've got to be able to shake those off because there is not much you can do about it. Canada to the line. They find some big hits. Oh, and Mora grazed there as well. So Australia, the big player advantage right now. 5 of them against the O'Quinn twins.
Oh.
Jack hit out though, And it's down to just Jess O'Quinn against 5.
Crowd is getting more excited here.
O'Quinn going defensive, and now on the offensive. 2 throws. First one finds the mark, knocking out Everett. O'Quinn electing to throw that first ball, hangs on to the second to block with, but so far no damage on that last exchange. O'Quinn coming to the line, going windmill. Spillon survives, countering, does not take it.
That is a wicked throw. She has both underhand and overhand. That is an impressive feat. A lot of players have a favorable way of throwing, but to be able to have both in your arsenal is impressive.
And O'Quinn finding Spillon there, going across to try and deter the counter as well. O'Quinn also a formidable catcher. She's a multi-threat player. She's going to need it all in this exchange. Showing the blocking skills. There's that underhand and the overhand. She's confident throwing both balls because she knows she has a little bit of time to get back and pick up 2 from her sideline. Blocking, but hit. Dawson fired up on that one. Team Australia 5 in a row to tie this match back up.
Wow, this is a very different looking game than it was earlier on. 5-5. First Canada taking the first 5, making it look pretty easy. Now Australia saying, hey, not so fast, Canada, we're coming back.
Yeah, and the momentum is so important in these matches. You see that feeling of confidence can be the difference between hitting those close shots or blocking those difficult balls coming in. And right now, Australia's got all the confidence. Then Canada's going to need to shake off those unlucky double bounces and make sure that those don't get to them.
Oh, that did look like it got her in the face.
Yeah.
In some rec leagues, face shots don't count. Here at Worlds, everything counts. Everything's on the line.
Yeah, Shauna Rowe absorbing that ball up high. Croft knocked out as well. Team Canada still 4 on the floor, but Australia still with their original 6. And Mora's shot finds the mark, couldn't get squeezed there by Everett. O'Quinn retrieves that ball, protected by her sister and number 4, Barry. Canada finding another shot there. O'Quinn takes out Spillon. 4-on-4. Canada evening the odds. .5 minutes remaining in the match. There's a shot toward O'Quinn that's blocked. Young collecting those balls from a risky position. Jack O'Quinn electing not to take the throw. Shot toward Barry is blocked, but Australia gets that ball back, so they still have 4. They'll be on the offensive, and they miss. We see the windmill faked from number 10, Jess O'Quinn. Canadians up to the line. We see a 1-for-1. Young knocked out, but so is Jack O'Quinn. Australia, again the ones with 4 balls. They find the hit. And Jess O'Quinn knocked out, leaving Australia with the player edge. Looking to take control of this match that they were down in 5-0 earlier. Mora's counter toward Dawson, missed.
Australia still with the player advantage. Oh, but tying it up.
And Canada will need a little more of that in order to clinch this point and reestablish their lead. Fayad, I think, calling the shot. Missing Barry there. And now it's Canada to the line. They go across. Holcomb surviving. Canada now with just 1 ball in the hands of Mora. Let's see whether Australia goes for it. They do, and they take her out. They're up 2-1. Down to number 4, Veronica Berry. Australia to the line. Berry going aggressive. Gets that second ball back from her sideline. Just posturing aggressively. Throws at Fayad. It's blocked. Berry now with just one ball. And she commits low and gets hit out. Berry feeling blue as Australia takes their first lead of the match.
Wow. Very impressive play by Australia. They are keeping the momentum, keeping the tempo of the game on their side. They're putting Canada in a difficult position here.
Yeah, Canada has not been able to block those incoming shots very well. I don't know if it's just that Australia is placing them better, or if Canada, some of the players aren't finding their blocking reflexes quite as quick as they were earlier in the match. But either way, Australia knocking Canadians out with a lot more authority than they were early on.
10 minutes, 54 seconds still left on the clock. Still plenty of dodgeball to go.
We see Jess O'Quinn showing some frustration as she gets hit out on that first shot. She was not able to block it. But her team still has 5 on the floor. You see 2 shots hitting Dawson, but the return fire also eliminating Mora. Australia still with that edge. See a windmill shot from O'Quinn. Tried to say throw and shot at the same time for a throt. I don't know.
It's a really aggressive throw.
Yeah, that's right. And the back and forth there. This time Canada eliminating Young without a casualty on their own side. So still 4-on-4, anybody's point. That shot from Everett just missing. Canada to the line. They find Spillon, who went low but not quite low enough. Ritchie and Barry holding the line for Canada, fighting to get that ball back on their side. Now Canada looking to reestablish control of this game. Croft with a nice cross-body shot.
Great aim on that one, right in the kneecap. It's a very difficult one to dodge.
She also one of those players with both the overhand and the underhand throws available. Barry blocking.
Just getting an update, Mason from Team Australia was hurt and is off the court, icing right now, may not be able to return in this game.
Thanks to our sideline reporting. Yeah, she felt a sharp pain in her leg, so we hope she is okay.
Fortunately, we do have an on-site physical therapist from Back to Total Health and Wellness, and they are also a sponsor of this event, so thank you for being here and taking care of our many athletes.
And we see a throw toward Fayad. I don't think she was ready for that shot from O'Quinn, but luckily O'Quinn didn't quite find her. Now Canada with just one ball in the hands of Barry, who gets hit out. Canada often electing to throw that last ball when just one player in the middle has it. Sometimes it works out for them, but not so much that time.
A little less than 9 minutes left on the clock.
Canada, no balls in hand right now. They're willing to be aggressive. They are confident catchers, but not quite able to squeeze that one. So just Jen Ritchie.
Jen Ritchie, I'm sure, is looking for a catch here.
Oh, she goes low to avoid those balls. Now we're going to see Fayad and Everett working those angles. Ritchie does not throw from her knees this time. She mentioned from yesterday that she had tried it, thinking her opponents might not expect it. She does it that time. Not a great shot, but she gets a second ball in from the sideline. Now here comes another shot from Ritchie toward Everett, who blocks it. Oh, and that's a great shot from Everett, just down low onto the ankles. Australia fully feeling this match, I would say. They've got the 7-point streak and a 2-point edge in the match.
That is very difficult, too, to keep the momentum for that many matches right in a row after already being down 5-0. They've definitely picked themselves up from their bootstraps on this one.
And we have 7 minutes and I think 12 seconds remaining on the clock. You can hear the Australian fans feeling this one. Canada is going to need to work hard to get themselves back on the score sheet.
As mentioned earlier, Mason from Team Australia was feeling a sharp pain, so she stepped off. We won't be seeing her probably for the rest of this match.
Yeah, so that is number 35, the vice captain of the Australian side. Luckily that team is deep. I'm sure they will miss her, but they have a lot of strong players on the team. A lot of bench strength there. Oh!
That one seemed to just jiggle around there on her hands. These balls are foam, so they're very light. They're difficult to catch, and sometimes they just pop right out of your body and slip away from you like we saw right there.
Yeah, Everett had a couple of chances for that ball, and then Fayad maybe as well. Oh, now on the back and forth, I think we got a hit out onto number 77, Croft. Yeah, we haven't actually seen as many catches in this match as I might have expected given these two teams' reputations. Shot towards Shauna Rowe. She blocks that. Canada now coming to the line. We see O'Quinn on the right side taking the shot. O'Quinn again aggressive, trying to keep them off the ball. She elects to throw, but Spillane goes under it. Canada a little trigger happy there, down to 1 ball. Oh, Barry wasn't able to avoid that second ball. She's trying to stir things up a little by being out in front of the team, but she does get hit out. At least she draws in a second ball. There we see a shot, finding Fayad. Good honest play as she walks out. Oh, but then on the other side, Spillane taking out O'Quinn. 3 players per side. That shot knocking out number 25, Jacqueline O'Quinn. Canada back to the advantage. Sorry, Australia back to the advantage. And it looks like they got a graze shot onto number 11, Shauna Rowe, calling herself out. So Team Australia, 3 players strong. We see a shot missing the mark there towards Spillane. Mora looking for her opportunity, finds Spillane. Mora willing to play that aggressively, see what she can find. She'll still have to deal with Dawson and Holcomb. Mora staying light on her feet, blocking that shot. Looking for Holcomb, slides out of the way. Mora still up at the line, looking again for Holcomb, who clears that ball.
4 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, Mora staying alive. Backline ref saying she is safe.
Staying alive and staying in.
We're just missing Holcomb there. Good dodge. Lisa Mora trying to hang on against 2. She avoids that shot. Goes across body onto onto Dawson. This time looking for Holcomb. Holcomb electing not to take that shot as Mora was backing up with just no balls in hand, but Australia still looking to stagger those throws, and they find her. Rachel Dawson visibly excited, and who can blame her?
Bringing the score to 8-5 in favor of Australia.
Dawson showing some fire, and I love seeing that. I love seeing the players excited about when they're playing well and when they're earning those points. Australia completely in the driver's seat. Which, do they drive on a different side of the road than
or is
than
that
we do in
just
North
like
America?
how toilet water flush? I don't know. It's one or the other. Something about the equator. I think it's just England that does the other side of the road. Well, there's enough Aussies here. We could probably ask one of them.
Yeah, I feel like we may have just exposed some of our ignorance. Whoops. But one thing I do know, Australia's got the 3-point lead in this match. Canada is still in it, of course. They've shown a lot of accuracy and some quick points, but only 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. So Canada's going to need to hit on some aggressive plays in order to get themselves at least 2 points heading into the end of time. And there, it's a good shot.
Looks like it was a hand shot.
Yeah.
Honest out on that one.
Yeah, Jack O'Quinn knocked out. But there we see Spillane knocked out, avenged by her sister. Jess O'Quinn hitting that one. We see O'Quinn again in the corner. The ball goes toward her from Holcomb. O'Quinn threatening both the underhand and the overhand. Canada missing a couple of throws there. Now they send those balls toward Barry. I think that was 3 balls, one of them going onto her back. So Canada getting a couple of balls back, and now we see Croft attacking, Young blocking. Team Australia up, looking for Croft. And now it's Canada's turn. We see a shot, successfully finding Dawson. That was Jess O'Quinn on that O'Quinn mill. Australia adjusting their position. See a crossbody toward O'Quinn that goes over her head.
I believe there's just over 1 minute left on the clock.
Yeah, so Australia really needs to stay alive here. Now we see some back and forth, and I think Croft, the only casualty in that exchange. Well, and there's a good aggressive throw. They find Everett. That was O'Quinn spending one of the last balls for Canada. Now she'll get the actual last ball. See what she can do. Absorbs the cross shot from Alex Young. Team Australia still with the extra ball. They're using the entire 10-second shot clock when they can. They know that the clock and the scoreboard are on their favor. The pressure is on Canada to convert here. Fayad blocking that ball.
Under a minute left. Australia is going to try to run the clock here, to not let it go into another game.
O'Quinn finds Fayad. She goes low in case a throw comes her way, but the Australians still content to play this conservatively, force Canada to beat them. Ooh. It looks like Rowe looking maybe for the catch, but she got clipped as she jumped. O'Quinn finds a shot. But that is it. So in a medal round like this, we know the final result is going to be Australia taking the bronze after showing an awful lot of heart, coming back from a 5-0 deficit, 8 unanswered points.
Australia definitely earned those last 8 points too. They took a minute after being down 5-0, pulled themselves together and just didn't give Canada the opportunity to take even one more point back. That was an impressive play by both teams. And it was an exciting game. That's what we were hoping for here today.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel as close at the end because I feel like the Australians were just really carrying the play at the end. They were finding shots through the Canadian blocks repeatedly. I would be curious to hear from the Australian side what the coaches said during that timeout to gain control of the match again.
What was the turning point there?
Yeah.
That tipped the scale there for Australia.
Yeah, so we're going to see if we can find an interview before the next game starts. Because, I think there are a couple of storylines here that we would love to hear a little bit about. What was said on the sidelines, how did both teams try to keep or regain the momentum when they lost it? But yeah, full marks to Team Australia, rallying to earn themselves a bronze medal.
Next up on the main court will be the same countries, Australia and Canada, for the men's bronze medal match. Please stay tuned. I'm sure there's a lot of viewers at home watching, wanting to see their home country perform and play. I do believe there'll be a little bit of a halftime show here as well, so we can enjoy that while the athletes get ready to prepare for the next game.
I believe the halftime show is scheduled for between the bronze medal and the gold medal matches. So
I think there's multiple shows. From what I just heard from Jake Mason, he came over and gave a little bit of an update. So,
well, good. It'll be a pleasant surprise for me too. So now we see a lot of hugs. A lot of Australian team members from both the men's and women's side celebrating with their peers. See the red-clad Australian fans quite happy with their team, showing a lot of focus and determination in this match, as we were saying. And disappointing finish for Canada, who, I mean, the first time I saw them in this tournament, they were overpowering against Team Malaysia. And they looked like they were a force, but now we're into the halftime show.
We'll step away for 1 second, let you guys enjoy this halftime show.
About 10 minutes, we have another Canada and Australia match for the bronze. In 10 minutes, Australia and Canada for the bronze. Teams, you can come on the courts and warm up. Everybody else, you can buy a drink and some merchandise.
My name is Christina Simos, World Dodgeball Federation Champions bronze medal match. Claire Spillane. Oh my God, what a comeback. Tell me what happened and how you guys were able to pull that out.
No, it was really tight. We just reminded ourselves to play our own game, and literally I was just screaming, play our side of the court, and it just came together. Like our key word for this tournament was trust, trusting in ourselves and trusting in our teammates, and yeah, I'm super proud of every single one of them.
Right. When you were down, 4-2, correct? We were down 5-0. 5-0, that's right. Yeah. What do you say to your team to get them back focused and ready to play for that second half?
No, it's about us playing what we know, what we've trained hard for, and what we do. So we just reminded ourselves about all the hard work, what we know how to do, and we played our side. There were a couple of little things we talked about tightening up, just with some of our dodges and our blocks and stuff like that, just because we're taking a couple of like cheap outs. So we just had to, just tighten up a little bit. But yeah, really good.
And I saw that Mason went down with injury. What do you do in those situations?
I literally went over to her on the sidelines and I said, we're doing this for you. And I said, we trust you, you've got to trust us now. And she's the best vice captain anyone could ever ask for. She's the best teammate anyone could ask for. And she was cheering us on so hard from the side, no matter how much pain she was in. So, yeah.
And your fans.
I know. I have to do the biggest shout out to them again, because seriously, they're amazing. They're amazing. Every single person in those 2 boxes there has been absolutely amazing, screaming their lungs out. I can't say anything other than like, thank you so much. We love you so much. And yeah.
Well, congratulations, bronze medal champions. I love it. Congratulations. We will turn it back to our team.
We are back, and I'm welcoming Bill Fisher back to the desk. Hello, Bill.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon. What an amazing comeback there by the Australian women's team.
Yeah, that's yeah. We just heard from Captain Spillane mentioning that when you're down 5-0, they reminded themselves who they are and how they play. Tightened up a couple of loose things on their side.
Yeah. Both sides with some what looked to be injuries on the sidelines, and I mean that's got to shake you. Just having that one less player that and the utility they bring to that team, and Australia used that and came back 8 in a row after going into the half 5-2. So great work by that squad.
Yeah, we see in quite a few of the matches, you see these momentum streaks that one team builds up where, maybe they start with a favorable bounce or a really well-executed play, and then they're able to kind of snowball that into momentum that just results into a point streak. This is maybe one of the most extreme examples of that, because we saw 5 in a row from Canada to start things off. They were just hitting almost every shot they were taking. They were getting through those Australian blocks and timing their throws against the dodges really well.
Yeah.
But then after 5 straight, it seems like that luck flipped to Australia. They got some double bounces, double hits, I should say, and they just started connecting through those blocks of Canada. So, yeah.
That and at first I was a little like, okay, they're getting some lucky double outs here. There was a game where there was 2 or 3 double outs on that the Australians got, and wasn't sure if that was what was making them come back, but they kept it going after that. It wasn't luck. They were taking some great shots.
Yeah, they earned it for sure. And and also we heard Captain Spillane mention that they did lose Rowena Mason. She went down to some pain in her leg, getting worked on the sideline. Spillane said, "We're doing this for you. You've trusted us all this way, and we're gonna do you proud." And I have to say they did. So they've earned a bronze medal.
Yeah. This is a team game. And at the end of the day, no one person can do this alone. You've got to trust your team. You have a job to do on the court. You know your skill sets. And when you get here, this is not the time to try things new. So when you're on that court, you want to make sure you're using the best that you bring to that team. And you want to make sure everyone else around you is doing their job. And
yep,
Australia found it. They tightened some things up and came out with the victory.